Hey there, Tasha here. Before we jump into today's episode, I have some exciting news. My brand spanking new book, Keto, A Woman's Guide and Cookbook, which is a reference guide, cookbook, and jam-packed resource to help women fine-tune their approach to keto, has been available for pre-order for a couple of months now. And I wanted to share with you, just really quick, what some of the readers have been saying. Nina says, "This book has everything I've been looking for and more. I never fully understood the keto diet until Tasha's book. It's not eating bacon and deep frying in butter. It's finding what works for your body. Macros can be so confusing, but Tasha breaks it down without all the nutritional jargon. It was easy to understand, and all of the free resources she provided were beyond helpful. I finally know how to make keto work for me. Thank you so much, Tasha, for making a book that everyone can enjoy." I love hearing that. And here's what another Amazon reviewer, T Wonder, had to say. "I'm only about a third of the way through, but I have to give this book a 5-star review now. I've stumbled around and tried keto before with some success, but this book explains everything and backs it all up with the research the author used. It's also easy to read, and you feel like the author is your cheerleader. This is going on my shelf along with The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living as my expert guides." So first off, thank you so much for taking the time to leave those amazing reviews of Keto, A Woman's Guide. What I love most is that these reviews were actually submitted when I first released my book, before my publisher asked me to do an expanded edition, complete with a recipe section and more visuals. Pretty incredible, right? So if you're getting started doing keto and want a step-by-step, no-nonsense guide to make keto work for you, or you've been doing keto for a while and want to hone in on the strategies and tactics that drive even better results, or you're tired of one-size-fits-all keto books not giving you enough depth and detail to understand how and why you might need to tweak things, this is why I wrote the book. Keto, A Woman's Guide and Cookbook will help you get laser-sharp focus on strategies that work for weight loss, improved fat burning, and hormonal balance. And it will also let you know what tactics you can stop wasting your time on. To be honest, when I wrote this book, I included all the things I wish I knew before starting keto. I wish I had something like this when I was getting started and trying to figure it all out, or even after I started and wasn't making the progress that I wanted. So here's the deal. If you're a woman doing keto or know someone who is, I want you to head over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, or your preferred online retailer and pick up a copy. Pre-orders help retailers know that there's interest in a title, so it really helps get the book seen in search results online and end up on the shelves in physical stores. And once you get your copy, if you could take the time to leave a quick review on Amazon letting me know how the book has helped you, I would appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into today's episode. Hey there, welcome back and welcome to 2020. Happy New Year, everybody. I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but this year is going to be fantastic. Okay, it's going to be absolutely freaking fantastic. And I'm so stoked for 2020. Today, we're talking all about New Year's resolutions and goal setting. I'm going to share my own personal resolutions with you guys. I've actually got a little story to tell you and a fun and kind of scary to me announcement to make that I think you'll be pretty pumped about. And of course, goal setting, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, what to do, what not to do kind of stuff. But before I share my resolution with you, I thought I would share a little bit about myself to set the stage, so to speak. Now, I don't really mind talking and sharing ideas. In fact, I kind of love it, but I don't love talking about myself. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of gal, and being in the spotlight makes me feel awkward and uncomfortable. That's why I write, I develop recipes, I do food photography and podcast in this dark little office instead of sitting in front of a camera somewhere. Okay. So bear with me as I share, and I promise I'll get to the New Year's resolutions and goals for 2020 in a bit. So a few years ago, I think it was back in 2015 or early 2016, I shared a video of myself on YouTube. It was a before and after comparison, more like a weight loss progress update kind of thing. And it was after I had back-to-back pregnancies and I was losing weight using keto. And I started eating low carb and keto around 2011, and keto helped me get pregnant in the first place. It was something that I used to manage my PCOS symptoms, including infertility. And I had a really, really good time using keto before I got pregnant. But as soon as I was pregnant, I had a really difficult time eating low carb. Not just my first pregnancy. This is during both pregnancies. I had difficulty eating certain foods. I had really extreme aversions to certain things. And I definitely did not eat keto while I was pregnant. And while I found it difficult to eat certain things, I really didn't have a problem eating for two and then some with the foods that I could tolerate. So I was eating quite a bit. And this is all outside of my usual keto dietary pattern because it just wasn't sustainable during that time. Okay. And honestly, I made it kind of a free for all. I took eating for two to heart. And to add to that, I was very inactive in the later half of my pregnancies. I was on light duty and even on bed rest for a little bit, which just made the weight gain even worse. Okay. And so after I had my kiddos, my eating normalized. I didn't get sick when I smelled chicken or anything weird like that. I could just eat the way that I was previously eating, and I went back to a low carb keto dietary pattern. And at the time, I was over 250 pounds. I had gained a lot of weight with my first baby, and I lost a little bit, and then I got pregnant again soon after. It felt like back to back to back. I was pregnant right again. So it just felt like it was all piling on before I had even lost the weight from my first pregnancy. And I didn't really feel in charge of my body at all. And any moms out there probably know the feeling like your body does all these wild things, and then you have your kids, and then you have this whole new body that you don't really recognize. So it's kind of weird. And I loved being pregnant, but as soon as it was over, I was just like, whoa, whose body is this? I don't really remember that being there, So I decided that I'd record myself at my heaviest weight. And then 4 months later, I recorded my weight loss progress that occurred while I was doing keto. And I did it more for myself to see than anything. I didn't plan on posting it publicly at all. I just knew that keto worked really well for me in the past. And when you're losing weight, you just can't see the difference when you're looking in the mirror. So I recorded these videos as kind of like my own proof, like, yes, this works. You're getting skinnier, you're making progress, whatever. And, you look in the mirror every single day and your mind just adjusts and you don't see it when you look at yourself. But I ended up losing around 50 pounds in the first 4 months when I was back on keto. And I posted the video to YouTube, and it was super uncomfortable. I remember it to this day. If I was to go back and watch, I would cringe and pick myself apart, probably. I'm my biggest critic, and I am a recovering perfectionist. So putting that imperfect version of myself out there was and still is incredibly difficult for me. And it was really scary for me. But honestly, it was kind of amazing. People were so nice and encouraging. And I received so many messages from people that were inspired or encouraged by the video. I didn't really know what would happen when I put that video out there, but it wasn't the barrage of internet trolls that I had expected and even anticipated. People were just happy to see someone totally normal like myself. Like, I wasn't this super shredded bodybuilder. I still had lumps and bumps everywhere. Okay. So again, 4 months later, I posted another update, and at that time, I had made it to my goal weight, and my goal weight or goal in general wasn't to get skinny necessarily. It was just to be at a weight where I felt comfortable in my own skin. And I was so happy and excited to share at that point that I made an update, and my goal weight and my video still had the lumps and bumps. I wasn't shredded still. And to this day, I'm still not shredded. And while people were still very warm and encouraging, there were all of these kinds of comments that I wasn't really expecting to get when I reached my goal weight. And there were people like, "Keep going." And I was like, what? Wait, I'm at my goal weight. Do I really need to keep going and become skinnier? So it was like this weird thing that I started to second guess myself and downplay my accomplishments. And even though there were people that were out there benefiting from my video and seeing what's possible when a real person does keto or a real person sticks to something for a little bit of time, I just shut down. I didn't want to be on video. Something clicked in me, and I was like, nope, that's why you're behind the camera, Tasha. And I just stopped getting in front of the camera from that point on. And fast forward all these years later, I have this huge website and programs where I help women with keto, a book and a podcast, and I'm still not really putting myself out there in that way. And I realized I could be helping so much more. I could be going live on social media to answer questions, and I could be making videos and tutorials, but I've been holding myself back. And I realized it's just because I've been caught up in the what if game, like I'm still not shredded. And even though that's never been my goal, what if people look at me and think keto doesn't work or she would be shredded? And with all this talk about mindset around dieting and body image, I've realized that I need a major mindset makeover myself. So for 2020, I'm all about working on my mindset and limiting beliefs about putting myself out there into the world. I have a message to share and people that I can help. So I'm going to do it. Screw the what ifs. My resolutions for 2020 are to put myself out there more, be more visible, be a real person and not just a website, and to do things that make me uncomfortable. And to kick this all off, I am hosting a new Facebook group for the month of January. We're going to go live daily for the entire month with insights and how-tos and a weekly Q&A to support your efforts to make 2020 a huge success. So I will be there to check in every single day this month. And the thought of going live is absolutely terrifying to me. It's back to that what if scenario, but I'm kicking off my 2020 with this, and I really hope you find it to be helpful for you. It'll be a small, intimate group of peer support, and you'll get to pick my brain about keto, nutrition, and all that fun stuff. So if you'd like to join, just head over to ketogasm.com/Facebook to get the invite to the private group. I will also send out the link definitely to my newsletter and probably on social media. So keep an eye out in your inbox or on your Facebook or Instagram feed. If you follow me there, I don't know. I hope that this is going to be really small, so I won't be doing a lot of like advertising for it. But the group itself is called Ketogasm Friends, and we're going to be going hard until the end of January. So if you need some encouragement, support, or just a small friendly community, please feel free to join in for the fun. I've hosted a Facebook group in the past, and it was a huge, huge success, but it was open indefinitely. And so many people joined over the years that it just got super crowded and noisy and really, really hard to keep up with. So this is going to be a very nice change of pace, and I'm hoping to keep it really small and focused on getting on track in the new year. And it's all free. So it's free because I want to thank you guys for being part of the Ketogasm community and for all of your support. And plus, I think you guys are just awesome and stuff. So thank you for being awesome. And I hope you do join us over in the group. Again, the URL is going to be ketogasm.com/Facebook, or you could probably head over to the Facebook search box and type in Ketogasm Friends, and I'm sure the group will pop up there, although I have no idea how long that takes because I just set it all up, so I haven't tested it yet. Fingers crossed, right? If you aren't really clear on what the focus of your New Year's resolutions and goals should be, I've come up with a list to get your creative juices flowing. And I know a lot of people don't even bother with setting New Year's resolutions because a lot of times they're things that people don't stick to. But I don't think there's anything wrong with setting personal goals or working towards self-improvement. The trick is to pick something that has real meaning and impact to your life and genuinely understanding the motivation and drive behind making those changes, okay? So here's some ideas that I came up with for you guys in case you don't have a clear idea of where 2020 is taking you yet. Number 1, start keto. I really couldn't help myself with this one. You guys know me. If you're listening and on the fence about starting keto, then there's no better time than the present. The very first episode of this podcast walks you through a gentle transition to keto and what to focus on when you're first starting out. So that is going to be a great resource for you to get started. I've also got a free course that covers the basics called Hello Keto. That's on my website. And one more plug for my book, Keto, A Woman's Guide and Cookbook. It's pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. Number 2, self-love. This is a biggie. And I hope that you go into 2020 loving yourself up. Treat yourself, do something nice for yourself, say something nice to yourself. This could be anything from getting a pedicure every so often to limiting negative self-talk. I hope I see lots of increasing self-love goals and resolutions in the group. Number 3 is mindset. And this one kind of goes hand in hand with the last one, especially since having a positive mindset drives the practice of self-love. But this one was a big one for me this year, working on limiting beliefs about where I show up and what I do in this space, in my business, breaking down barriers that are holding you back from taking action in your life or shifting your thoughts. I'm totally there. I'm all over this one this year, you guys. Number 4, movement. Lots and lots of people are going to be hopping on the gym wagon this time of year with exercise-related resolutions and goals. And that's really awesome. But think about this in a way that's really meaningful to you, or If you hate working out, what are some types of movement that you actually enjoy doing? For me, it's swimming, walking in the woods or hiking, lifting up really heavy stuff and seeing how strong I can get, kayaking. These are all great active ways of movement that don't involve slogging away on a treadmill or a spin bike. That's not really my jam, So I think for me, finding stuff that I actually enjoy, finding things that bring you joy, that you think are fun, it doesn't really feel bad when you're doing it. But if you try to force yourself to do things that you hate and you don't love doing, then you're probably setting yourself up for failure. Okay. Number 5, limit meals eaten out. Now, there's certainly nothing wrong with eating out at restaurants, but it can become overkill if that's your go-to. Make time to shop and prepare fresh, healthy meals at home. I firmly believe that this is the key to your health. Prepping meals at home, learning how to cook, okay? So if learning how to cook is something you struggle with, make 2020 the year that you turn into the next Gordon Ramsay, okay? Get creative in the kitchen or just learn about simple food prep to make your life easier. And to boot, you'll save money in the process, right? So this can help support your health and your body composition. Number 6, be more social. This should probably be on my list as well. As I get older, it's way easy to get swamped with kids and work and your partner and all of the other things that life throws at you to juggle. And personally, I always seem to drop the ball when it comes to throwing social life into the mix. So you need support from friends, that feeling of community. Don't neglect your social life and friends just because you're a grown-up. Make time to socialize. That's a great one for 2020. Number 7, chill out. Work on reducing your stress levels. Last week's episode was all about stress and weight loss. So if you feel like you need to take a chill pill and relax a little bit, definitely check that out. Chronic stress negatively impacts your health and body composition. So if you're on that get healthy train, consider working on your stress management as part of it. Number 8, sleep. This is another thing that a lot of us, myself included, need to work on to optimize our health and well-being. If you're struggling with sleep, consider working on it intentionally. Set a routine time for sleep, no lights, no TV, wear those blue light glasses after dark, or stop drinking caffeine after a certain time. Get intentional because good sleep is so underrated. And number 9, this is my last suggestion for you guys, read more books. I'm constantly reading nonfiction, but it's been so long since I've gotten lost in a really good fiction story. And if you love reading, but don't make time for it, consider carving out the time to be intentional with your spare time and make room for a few books in 2020. You guys, I could really keep going, but I think that's a good start and probably got you thinking about your own world and areas that you can focus on. Now, when you're setting goals, think about how you're setting them up. One of the reasons so many people fail to follow through with their goals and New Year's resolutions is because they're not realistic or attainable. Good goals are SMART goals. SMART is an acronym or mnemonic for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. I'm sure it probably changes from where you learned this, but that's how I know it. Specific. Get healthy is not specific, okay? How do you want to get healthy? Be specific in your goals. Do you want to lower your blood pressure by a certain number of points? Do you want to lose 2 dress sizes? Do you want to be down 10 pounds of body fat or gain 2 pounds of muscle? Be specific. Being detailed in your goals helps you focus your efforts on what you actually want to accomplish. M is for measurable. And I want you to think of these as the metrics that you're going to measure in regards to your goal. Is it your body fat percentage or your lean body mass measured via DEXA scan? Are you going to go by the number on the scale? Whatever it is, you want to make sure that you're working towards that you have a way of measuring your progress, okay? How are you going to measure this? Is it a number of times you do something or don't do something? Think about it. Really think about it. Assign a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, timely objective to each one of these things. A is for achievable, and this is huge. Probably the most important one out of all of these, I think. Okay, so maybe you're a couch potato and your goal is to run a marathon in 3 weeks. That's not achievable, okay? That's setting yourself up for failure and discourages you from pursuing your goals. You want to set smaller, more realistic goals that can help inspire motivation. And as you accomplish these smaller, attainable goals, you're closer to where you want to be in the long run, right? So instead of a marathon, why not start with a mile or even smaller than that? Think about where you are now and what small steps are needed to work towards where you want to be. That's how you make real progress and achieve your goals. The R in SMART is for relevant, and you want to make sure to choose small goals that are achievable, measurable, specific, that actually support your overarching resolutions by making them relevant, right? You won't want to come up with a bunch of irrelevant goals if you expect to have them support your big goals, right? You want them to be relevant. So if you want to lose 50 pounds, you shouldn't be setting a new goal to try 50 new restaurants in your area, right? That doesn't support your overarching goal. And finally, timely. T is for timely. Set a date to have your goals accomplished by. Mark it on your calendar. Block off some time to actually get it done. This can help motivate you and help you adjust as needed. Without a time frame, you can feel a bit directionless, right? But remember, this needs to be achievable too. So don't condense your timeline to be unrealistic. Use time as a motivating force to gain momentum. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope to see you in the new Facebook group, Ketogasm Friends. Again, that's ketogasm.com/Facebook for those of you who are interested in joining. See you soon. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Ketogasm podcast. You are awesome. I really hope the show's added value to your keto journey. Making big changes to your eating habits can be a little tricky, but if you're taking the time to listen and learn about keto, you're well on your way. You got this. Be sure to visit ketogasm.com for the show notes with full transcripts, references, and resources to help you out, including a totally free course called Hello Keto. It's helped over 75,000 people start keto with confidence. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.